The Black Mass is one of the most misunderstood and mythologized rituals in Western esoteric history, often depicted as a grotesque inversion of the Catholic Mass. It has been associated with Satanism, occult rebellion, and moral depravity. But beneath the sensationalism lies a deeper symbolic structure, one that speaks to power, ritual control, and the contested terrain of spiritual sovereignty. To understand what the Black Mass truly was and how it came to be, we must journey through centuries of religious conflict, mythic inversion, institutional projection, and esoteric experimentation. It is both historical accusation and metaphysical cipher, evolving from a tool of persecution into a mirror for awakening. The earliest references to the Black Mass do not come from practitioners, but from inquisitors. During the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church wielded enormous power over spiritual life, and any deviation from orthodoxy was treated as heresy. The Black Mass emerged in this context not as a documented ritual, but as an accusation. Heretics, witches, and political enemies were often accused of performing inverted rites, desecrating the Eucharist, invoking demons, and engaging in sexual orgies under the guise of worship. These accounts were rarely based on evidence. Instead, they served as rhetorical weapons, tools to demonize dissent and justify persecution. Inquisitorial manuals, like the Malleus Maleficarum, described such rituals in lurid detail. Blending theological paranoia with political strategy, the Black Mass became a symbolic construct, a way to externalize evil, reinforce institutional authority, and suppress alternative spiritualities. By the 18th and 19th centuries, Europe was undergoing dramatic shifts. The Enlightenment challenged religious dogma, and occultism experienced a revival. Figures like Eliphas Levi, Montague Summers, and later Aleister Crowley began to explore ritual magic, inversion, and esoteric symbolism not as blasphemy, but as metaphysical inquiry. Levi's writings on ceremonial magic introduced the idea that inversion could be used to reveal hidden truths. The Black Mass, in this context, was no longer a literal act of evil, it was a symbolic mirror. By reversing sacred forms, one could expose the scaffolding of belief and confront the shadow side of institutional religion. Montague Summers, a Catholic scholar with a flair for the dramatic, wrote extensively on the Black Mass, blending historical research with moralistic fantasy. His work helped cement the image of the Black Mass as a theatrical, sexually charged parody of Christian ritual. Crowley, meanwhile, reframed ritual inversion as a tool for personal liberation. His philosophy of do what thou wilt emphasized sovereignty over submission, and his rituals often challenged conventional morality not to glorify darkness, but to reclaim agency. In the late 20th century, the Black Mass re-emerged in public consciousness during the Satanic Panic, a period of widespread fear about alleged ritual abuse, cult activity, and underground Satanism. Media outlets, law enforcement, and religious groups fueled the panic, often citing the Black Mass as evidence of a growing threat. Most of these claims were later debunked. Investigations revealed that many accusations were based on hearsay, false memories, or moral hysteria. But the damage was done. The Black Mass had become a cultural symbol of evil, used to justify surveillance, censorship, and social control. This period reveals a crucial insight. The Black Mass functions as a projection screen. It absorbs societal fears about sexuality, autonomy, and institutional collapse and reflects them back in exaggerated form. It is less a ritual performed in secret than a myth deployed in public. To understand the metaphysical architecture of the Black Mass, we must explore the logic of inversion. In mythic terms, inversion is not mere rebellion, it is revelation. By turning sacred forms inside out, the Black Mass exposes the mechanics of ritual, the psychology of belief, and the power dynamics of spiritual mediation. The Catholic Mass is a highly structured ritual designed to mediate divine presence. It involves consecrated language, sacred objects, and hierarchical roles. The Black Mass inverts these elements. Prayers are spoken backward, the host is desecrated, and roles are reversed. But this inversion is not always nihilistic. In some esoteric traditions, it serves to deconstruct dogma and awaken latent sovereignty. The archetype here is the Shadow Priest or Trickster figures who violate taboos to reveal deeper truths. They do not seek chaos for its own sake, but transformation through confrontation. The Black Mass, when approached with discernment, becomes a symbolic jailbreak from institutional gatekeeping. Ritual is a technology of consciousness. It shapes perception, encodes values, and mediates access to the divine. Institutions use ritual to maintain authority, reinforce hierarchy, and control spiritual experience. The Black Mass disrupts this mediation, asserting direct contact with power, however distorted. This disruption can be liberating or dangerous. Without discernment, inversion becomes nihilism. But with clarity, it becomes initiation. The Black Mass challenges the monopoly of sanctity, asking, who controls meaning? Who mediates divinity? And how do we reclaim our place in the symbolic cosmos? Ironically, the myth of the Black Mass has often served institutional interests. By externalizing evil into ritual caricatures, the Church reinforces its own moral authority. The mechanism is simple. Create a monstrous other to justify control, surveillance, and dogma. Modern media continues. This pattern, horror films, crime dramas, and viral conspiracy theories portray the Black Mass as a spectacle of depravity. These portrayals distract from real abuses of power, financial corruption, war profiteering, and spiritual manipulation by sensationalizing dissent. There is also a hidden economy around ritual inversion. Books, documentaries, and online content profit from the spectacle. Occult subcultures sometimes commodify rebellion, losing the deeper metaphysical thread. Institutions use fear to consolidate control, while seekers are fragmented into fear-based camps. To reclaim the Black Mass as a tool for awakening, we must reframe its archetypes. The Shadow Priest is not evil, but misunderstood. Their role is to challenge ossified systems and awaken latent sovereignty. They violate sacred norms not to destroy, but to reveal. The Black Mass becomes an alchemical mirror. It reflects the unconscious distortions of institutional religion and invites integration. By confronting the grotesque, we reclaim lost parts of the psyche. When approached with discernment, inversion becomes initiation. True sovereignty is not found in blind rebellion or dogmatic purity. It emerges through discernment. The Black Mass, decoded, becomes a symbolic tool for questioning authority, reclaiming ritual agency, and integrating shadow without glorifying it. As more people awaken to the symbolic architecture of reality, ritual literacy becomes essential. The Black Mass is a case study in how symbols are weaponized, how inversion reveals hidden structures, and how discernment protects spiritual autonomy. In a media landscape saturated with fear-based archetypes, seekers must learn to decode narrative engineering, avoid glamorizing darkness, and use myth as a healing tool. The Black Mass, reframed, becomes a mythic threshold not into evil, but into awakened sovereignty. The future belongs to platforms and communities that honor mythic complexity, protect spiritual discernment, and transform fear-based lore into empowering frameworks. The Black Mass, stripped of sensationalism, reveals the architecture of ritual control, the power of inversion, and the path to sovereignty. The Black Mass was never just a ritual, it was a mirror, born from accusation, shaped by projection, and reclaimed through myth. It reveals the hidden architecture of spiritual control, whether viewed through historical, metaphysical, or institutional lenses. Its true function is initiatory. To engage with the Black Mass is to confront the shadow of ritual itself, to ask who controls meaning, who mediates divinity, and how we reclaim our place in the symbolic cosmos, not through fear, but through mythic clarity.